Thank you, Chelsea, again for that song. So beautiful. Hi, everybody. Wow. So many people here. It's awesome we get to start the year together. Okay. So, I don't know if, since Mike and I have been pastors, if we've had a New Year's service on New Year's Day. So, what a way to start the year. I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my experience coming into the new year. I'm also going to share a little bit about recapping what, as a community, our goals and focus was for the past year and what we did in that area. And I'm going to share a little bit about what we have already determined and are excited for 2023. And I'm going to introduce a new sermon series. We're going to be talking for a few weeks about stewardship and how that is a really great topic to start the year with. But first of all, I wanted to start with this quote. I found this quote this morning, and it is just my quote. This is from Lamentations 3:22-23. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. And I have to say, I always feel this like great battle in my life of the things that want to consume me. Many times it's just my own stress. Mike and I were talking last night, and we did a little New Year's Eve quiet time, prayer time, reflection time, New Year's Eve prayer last night at the church here. And we were talking about our year, and both of us kind of acknowledged, I think a lot of our difficulties can come from our own attitude, our own perspective on the challenges we go through. But that's one of them. I feel like I'm always a little bit in danger of being consumed by my stress or my negative perceptions of things. But there's also just so much happening in life. There's so many things going on in our community and with the school and with the people in our lives. It's like, sometimes I feel like things are clawing to get me, you know? But at the same time, I've shared with you before, one of my favorite songs is that song about how God's goodness is running after me. It's just running after me. I can't escape it. And I feel like that God's goodness keeps me from being consumed by everything else. His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. We spent some time yesterday to look through not only our church community photos and things that we shared in this video, but just our own personal Google Drive of photos and all the things that happened this year. And it just, every year we do this, and I feel like, how is it possible that all of these things happened in one year? It feels like ages ago. And it's really good to do that because we're reminded of the happy moments and the adventures and good times that we had, despite whatever else might have happened in the year. So, not only is God's faithfulness and compassion and goodness here with us today on New Year's Day, but they're new every morning if we give God space to do that for us. So that is definitely my experience. I can say for sure that my life has not been boring. No boringness in a long time. I can't remember the last time I was really bored, so that is good. But I'm really grateful for God's great love. On the community side, we pulled up our presentation from the beginning of the year last year to double check what was it that we outlined for our community for 2022. And this is what we had shared with all of you. Our main goal last year was not actually to start anything new. It was actually to nurture the seeds we planted. In 2021, we planted a lot of seeds and started a lot of new things, and they were all little baby sprouts at the beginning of last year. So our goals were to nurture the projects and the seeds we had planted. One of them was the school. At the beginning of the year last year, our Heartland Academy was just 4 months old, and we finished a year amazingly well last year. We had such an awesome year of growth and learning and excitement for this year. We had just started our music ministry. We took these people who are so different from each other in so many ways, and who had many different types of musical backgrounds, and blended them all together and created a beautiful music ministry.
I can't read music, just so you know.
Yeah, Chelsea doesn't read music, but she sings beautifully. Sam's got his own style of music. Andrew's got his own style of music. We put them all together, and since then we've added our younger singers. We just threw John in the mix with his bass. Yeah, it's awesome. We've had Alex come and join us. He's such an experienced drummer. He can play anything if he hears the song. Maybe we're going to hear some keyboard from him sooner or later too. So it's really not a simple thing to make music and to bring together different people and to create something beautiful. So, and we really feel that's something important for the experience. Not just of the atmosphere and the energy, but actually to be able to absorb God's word and to receive it. Many times we need to have our heart softened a little bit and opened up through music. So that was a big goal that I'm really happy we made progress with this year. We had also just started our CARP chapter and invited these amazing young people from around the country to come and join us. They also came from very different backgrounds and were doing different things. But gosh, we owe a lot to our amazing CARP kids this year. They did so much to help volunteering with whatever is needed in the community, but especially with our youth ministry and taking care of our young people, being a positive energy. Despite whatever things that they went through themselves, they really contributed something huge to our community this year. So let's give a round of applause for our CARP. We got Elisa here. She's the only one at the moment, but yeah, awesome. We had Anton's fundraising team join us, and we really wanted to support them and see them do well, but actually they did so much to support us and help our community throughout this year. I don't know if you see it very much, but Anton's really behind the scenes kind of guy who's always helping to transport people or things. Actually, because Anton was here, we had so many amazing other young people come and be part of our community for a few weeks or a few months as they got both spiritual and physical experiences in fundraising, but they also got to be part of our community and contribute here. They did a lot helping in renovations and cleaning and just always bringing us donuts and just a huge positive source of energy for our community. So that was actually a big part of this year that added a lot to this community in ways that you may or may not have seen. Tomorrow, Anton is leaving us and heading on to the next part of his journey. Not permanently, he'll be back, but this is our last day to spend with Anton until next time. So if you wanted to say goodbye to him or thank him, now is your chance. He's on to bigger and better things. So we had our year with him, and now we'll let him go. We really wanted to nurture our families and youth. this year. And I think we can confidently say that we made a lot of effort and progress in that area. We've maintained our marriage course, our yearly marriage course to help take care of couples. With the support of our elders ministry, we had date nights that were provided for our young couples, and all the kids could have an awesome time here and be safely taken care of, and parents could have a good solid 4 hours. Normally, babysitting is 2 hours or maybe 3, solid 4 hours to go and spend quality time and develop our relationships. We did a lot with our youth ministry with the help of Anissa and Carp and so many parent volunteers. Lots of good stuff. And then last night, Mike, I was like, Mike, what did you think about the year? He's like, all I remember is renovating. That's all I did. I got up in the morning and had renovations on the brain, and I went and I did them, and woke up the next morning and did it again. But we, at this time last year, we had just finished the renovation of the Carp section of the Carp house, just one unit. But in this year, we renovated 3 whole more units and filled them up with amazing people. So those were the things that we saw coming last year, and that's what we did with them. Let's give a hand and goodbye to 2022. So now, our plans for 2023. You might be surprised by some of the things you see, and not surprised by some of them. This is our list of plans that we currently know. We just never know what's going to come our way, or what we're going to be working on, or what's going to surprise us. But currently, this is our outline for 2023. Okay. We really want to grow and develop our carp house. We want to find a carp leader, somebody who can really take care of everybody, be in the house with them as older brother or sister or parental figure. And, we made this beautiful unit for our carp over there, but the reality is there's only 2 very small bedrooms in that house and 1 bathroom. So we've crammed a lot of people in there at times. We've had up to 7 people, I think, living in those 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. But actually, we found that people love coming here to Colorado, and I think that if we have more space for them, that we can create something more beautiful, and they can have a better experience and be able to contribute even more to the community. So we would like to renovate our parsonage that our family is living in right now and make that a new carp house. And we would like to find a new parsonage for our family that is better suited for the number of people in our house. And our family really wants a dog. I really want a fireplace. These are just not absolutes, but things that would be really nice. But yeah, it's all kind of works together that we want to grow our carp. We want to support our carp people more, and we want to give them more space. We want to give them better leadership, better structure, and also find a new parsonage very close by. We don't want to be far at all. We'll be walking distance from here. And at the same time, we'll open up another space in our fourplex over there for another amazing family to live close by. So that's on the menu for this year. Yes? Yes. So if you may not believe this, but this house over here, the parsonage we live in, has 6 bedrooms. Can you believe that? Our family doesn't need 6 bedrooms. But with 6 bedrooms, we could easily have 10 or 12 cart members, and there's 2 bathrooms, a lot more space, and the bedrooms are also bigger, so they'll be a lot more comfortable. It'd be better use for space for them. Anything else? Okay. Also, if you notice, we have this lovely poster at the back of our chapel we've had for almost 3 years now, for our exterior, our renovations, our plans for this church building. And the last 3 years, we've done a lot of work on the inside. And you may not even, it was just 2 years ago when we ripped out all the carpet in here and took out the pews and put in these chairs. I can't imagine the way this room used to look before, actually, anymore. We did that. We did a lot of work inside the carp house. But this is the year where we're going to complete or at least make a lot of progress on our exterior renovation plan so that our church fully represents to the world the beauty that is inside. We want to continue to grow and develop Heartland Academy. I'm making plans for next year already. I'm looking for at least 2 guides. So if anybody's interested, let me know. And young people. And we're going to continue renovations, including the house across the street. What does that mean? I forget. Oh, they never end. Okay, that's clarification. The renovations never end. So
So there's more renovations that need to be done. Never.
yeah, never ends. Also, I think I forgot to put on this list. One of the things on this list that is ongoing is a continuation of support for our young families in youth ministry. That is something that's really important to us. And we sat down yesterday and talked about Camp Journey coming up this summer, more plans for our youth and ways that we can support them. So also, as you saw, we're going to have Myrna LaPrey come in just 3 weeks, and she really has so much knowledge and heart and really useful tips for families to become closer together, whether you have small children or teenagers, or whether you're a grandparent or you have adult children. These are some of the ways that we really want to support our families. So that is one big point on this list that I forgot to put on. Yep. Okay, so next year, this time, we can pull up this list again and recap. But that's what we know what's going to be happening this year. Okay, so I want to introduce our Stewardship series. Stewardship is something that we don't often talk about a lot, and yet it is the basis of actually so much of what we want. We want blessings. We want success. We want things to go well. And really, there are many things that need to happen in order for those things to come true. But at the very baseline of it is good stewardship for what we already have. What is stewardship? One thing to remember is that despite what we may think and what we often feel, we do not actually own anything. And you might say, well, I have money and I bought this thing with my money, so it's mine. I mean, to some degree, yes, but actually, where did that thing come from? Did you create this thing from thin air? No, everything on this earth that we use, that we might borrow for a while, that we might say that we own for a while, is all just a blessing from God. And I think that that's a really important way to look at the time we have in our life, the people that we have in our life, the possessions that we say that we own. A lot of our troubles or problems, I think, come from the fact that we see things so self-centeredly so much of the time. We think, oh, this is my husband. And of course, he's not anybody else's husband, but he's mine. Or this is my house. Or this is my kids. Actually, aren't they God's children? Isn't my husband God's child? My children are God's children. This... my garden, my bees, I call them mine. I didn't make those bees. God designed them so beautifully. I just try to be a good steward. So being a steward is really, when we talk about stewardship, it's really being a caretaker for the things in our life for the amount of time that we have them. Being a caretaker for God. We just spent about a week at my parents' house in Missouri, which I've shared about before, but if you don't know, is a little slice of heaven in the middle of nowhere in rural Missouri. And I know people hear Missouri and they equate it with misery. And okay, I know you do. Many people think of Missouri and they just think of flat plains, and that's the northern half of Missouri is that. People think of southern Missouri, they might think of like hillbillies, which is also not true. But I was talking with Mike and I was like, I might be biased, but I think that there's something really special about this little place that my parents have out in the middle of nowhere. It's just so exquisitely welcoming and beautiful and peaceful, and like anywhere I look there's like a beautiful view, and I don't know, to me it's a little slice of heaven. But this is interesting about my parents' house. The house itself and the property was actually bought, and the home was built by my dad's best friend from high school. They're still best friends. He actually lives just a few miles away now in another similar, even more beautiful house. But he built this house out of the trees that they cut down to make a clearing for the house. He planed the boards, built the house. We have a fireplace and a counter that's made from the rocks and the stones that were dug out of the space to make the basement. But believe it or not, when they first built this house, this family had a business venture. You know how pet rocks were a thing? And like chia pets, sometimes people get weird ideas of what a pet could be. This family sold ticks as pets. It was like a really quick fad. And the person who was buying their ticks was like, I can't believe you live in this hellhole that is full of ticks. So when I see this, when I'm there, I see nothing but beauty, and I feel nothing but God's love. But when they first built that house, and before it was developed, and before it had a lot of good stewardship, from an outside perspective, it looked like a hellhole. Just a little wooden house in the middle of the woods, surrounded by ticks. It was actually described in words, and it's like, I can't relate to it at all. But part of the reason why it's so beautiful and so lovely now, I think, is God's doing and just the way he created the land. But also, my parents have lived on this property for 30 years and have spent 30 years landscaping, clearing out old dead trees, pickaxing rocks out of the ground so that the lawn can be mowed. I actually did a lot of that myself. Rebuilding a beautiful deck on the porch so that you can see everything, putting in a new pond so that there can be fish, and an island in the pond. You don't have to put an island in the pond, but my dad thought to put an island in the pond, And it was this stewardship, day in, day out, spring, summer, gardening. Every season comes with its own tasks out in the countryside. The fertilizing and the gardening and the carrot weeding and cutting the firewood, and it's every day in, it comes with its tasks. But over the course of 30 years, my parents and my dad especially has created a little kingdom of heaven. But also, it's not just because my dad wants that for himself. I know my dad very well, and he can seem like a little bit of a rough person sometimes. But actually, his greatest joy, my dad's greatest joy, is to host people, to have people come and spend time. And he wants to share. He's like, let's do a fishing contest. We have, if we have a church gathering or something, everybody comes down, let's do a fishing contest. I'll give $100 to the person who gets the biggest fish. Let's do a kayak trip. They own 6, there's only 2 people living in this house. They own 6 kayaks, a john boat, and a canoe. So they can take groups down the river, floating down the river. He has all these fishing poles. He doesn't need all these fishing poles. He has everything that he does is so that he can share this beauty with others. For us, when we come home to visit, for anybody who happens to stumble, make the trip 2.5 hours from St. Louis and down the windy roads and over the gravel road to my parents' house, they will be well rewarded. He keeps steaks frozen in the freezer for any visitor. T-bone steaks. If you come to my parents' house, you will have a T-bone steak. I guarantee it. Yeah. They might be surprised by how many visitors they get this year. I don't know. But I really get that my dad and my parents have a heart, not just that this is their property and they'll do what they want with it, but it's a heart of stewardship to take care of this beautiful blessing of land, and then multiply that joy and share that with other people. So I hope that you get a chance to visit my parents sometime. You'll be well taken care of. But I feel like that's a good example in a very physical way of stewardship. This is a quote from Luke, chapter 16, 10 through 12. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. So if you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? And if you have not been trustworthy with someone else's property, who will give you property of your own? So I think many times when we come to the new year, we think about the things that we want this year. I want more money. I want a better job. I want more grandkids. Or I see some people. Yeah. We often think about what we want that's new, what we want that's different this year. But we should begin by resolving to be good stewards of what 2022 brought us this year, or what we currently have. You know, I think that if somebody had, when we first moved to my parents' property, it was not so changed from when it was first acquired and first built on. And I think that from the perspective of the tick buying people, there must be a better property here somewhere. There's got to be someplace nicer, someplace that has less bugs. There's got to be something better out there. But my parents took this little hellhole and created something beautiful with what they had. And I think that it's the same thing in our lives, not just with property or external things, but we have people in our life. Maybe we really wish, I wish I had closer friendships. I wish I was closer, my family was closer. But maybe we need to resolve by first taking care of the relationships that we currently have and improving them. Maybe we actually don't need a new person in our life. Maybe we just need to take care of the people that are already here. I think in our community, that's the kind of attitude that Mike and I have for our church building. There's been a number of times when the topic has come up, maybe we should get a different church, a different neighborhood, maybe something more beautiful. Maybe someday that's something that will happen, but regardless, we really want to make our church as beautiful as we can, inside and outside, internally and externally. And we really believe that whatever comes in the future, if we do that, then God will trust us with the next step. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. So we're going to be talking about stewardship over the next few weeks. We're going to be sharing things like our plans as a church community, but also I think it's important for us to reflect very personally in our own life. What is God entrusting me with right now? Of course, maybe I have a house that I live in, possessions, but also, who is in my life right now? Who has God trusted me with in my life right now? What kind of circumstances has God given me? And with what perspective am I looking at these circumstances with? Last year, at the beginning of the year, my message and my motto and something that I really resonated with throughout this whole year was, I am going to plant flowers this year. And I did plant. I planted lots of bulbs. But the idea was that whatever comes this year, and a lot of things came this year, didn't they? We had war in Ukraine. We had many influential people pass away. Many difficulties happened this year. And I didn't know what was going to happen at the beginning of the year. I knew things might happen, but I was really resolved that whatever is happening out there, I'm going to make sure that I'm planting flowers. I want to make sure that I'm planting goodness, that I'm starting things, that I am nurturing things that will result in beautiful fruits. And I can't have complete control over it. I can't say that every single one of those things has or will produce fruit. But I can say for sure that if I don't plant those seeds, and if I don't nurture them, then I will be left to the winds of circumstances. That's what's going to determine my year. If I don't make the effort, then I have no say over what happens. So what seeds and what flowers did you plant last year? Let's be stewards of those little saplings, those little sprouts. Maybe not all of them sprouted last year. That's okay. You can plant new seeds too. You can plant new flowers this year. But whatever you did start, let's be good stewards of our garden of our life. Let's take care of what we already have. I have one last thing I want to share with you. It's a cute little Facebook post. I know you guys see these things all the time, but my old Sunday school teacher posted this today. And I love my Sunday school teacher. She's an elderly black lady who doesn't look a day older now when she is like 85 than she did when she was my Sunday school teacher when she was like 55. She doesn't look a day older. And she is one of my favorite people. So this is what she posted, and I'm going to share it with you. Hello, welcome to flight number 2023. We are prepared to take off into the new year. Please make sure your attitude and blessings are secured and locked in an upright position. All self-destructive devices should be turned off at this time. All negativity, hurt, and discouragement should be put away. Should we lose our altitude under pressure, during the flight, reach up and pull down a prayer. Prayers will automatically be activated by faith. Once your faith is activated, you can assist other passengers. There will be no baggage allowed on this flight. The captain has cleared us for takeoff. Happy 2023. All right, please join me in prayer. Heavenly Parent, good morning. We greet you today, January 1st, 2023, at the start of a new year, the start of a new adventure into our lives. Heavenly Parent, we don't know what this year will bring, but we do know that if we plant good seeds and if we are good stewards of what you have given us, that there will be goodness and there will be beauty and there will be happiness in this year. Heavenly Parent, I pray that we can be armed with your love. We can take courage in your promises to us, and that you will not let us be consumed by challenges or difficulties that will come this year. We just accept that, but we know that you will be with us and you will be standing alongside us and giving us the strength and whatever we need to move forward, Heavenly Parent. Thank you so much. We want to offer this time to you, begin this year with you, and I pray this in my name, Michael and Adonia Henschrick, Blessed Central Family. Amen and adieu. Okay, thank you.